You're listening to the Small Business Accelerator podcast, accelerating success, one founder at a time.
With your hosts, Roger Bryant and Sarah Wilson.
We support small business owners, the little guys. We're here to help you win in today's landscape.
Join us each week as we reveal powerful strategies for small business owners that save you time and money.
Because we believe every small business owner should have access to Fortune 500 style strategies without breaking the bank.
Subscribe now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to accelerate your small business success. Welcome to our deep dive into business analytics automation. Looks like we're going to be diving into a world where data is the key to making some seriously smart business decisions. We've got excerpts from Stanford University, From Chaos to Clarity, Automate Your Business Analytics, and a sneak peek into Martin Ebonge's online course, Automation's Made Easy. Should be fun.
Sounds like we've got all the ingredients for a great deep dive.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Every business I talk to these days is drowning in data.
You're telling me.
But figuring out how to actually use it, well, that's a different story.
Right. I mean, that's where business analytics comes in, right? Using the data you already have to, really understand your past performance and make decisions about the future.
Oh, okay. So this is all about using what you've got to plan for what's next.
Yeah, exactly. And automation. That's like adding rocket fuel to the whole process.
Rocket fuel. Now you've got my attention. Does that mean like replacing my whole team with robots?
No, not quite. It's more about empowering your team, helping them work smarter, not harder.
Okay, so instead of my team spending hours manually pulling data and cleaning it up, they can focus on actually, figuring out what it all means.
Exactly. Freeing up their time and their brain power for, the high-level strategic thinking that humans do best.
I like that. So it's about working smarter, not harder.
Right. You got it. And the Stanford report actually highlights some pretty amazing case studies where automation led to a 20% reduction in errors, a 50% faster processing time. Can you believe that?
Wow, that's significant.
And even a 10% increase in sales revenue. And that's all because companies can respond to changes in the market faster and make smarter decisions based on, what's happening right now.
Okay, so this is not just some theoretical mumbo jumbo. This is like real results.
Real results.
Now you're speaking my language. But I have to admit, the idea of implementing automation in my business, it feels kind of overwhelming.
Oh, yeah. I hear you.
Where do you even begin?
Well, the Stanford report, they actually lay out a pretty clear roadmap for success.
Oh, okay, good.
And the first principle they emphasize is figuring out your objectives. What problems are you actually trying to solve with automation?
So, are you trying to, improve efficiency in a specific department? Or maybe gain a competitive edge in your market?
Exactly. Or maybe you want to uncover those hidden patterns in your customers' behavior, the stuff that you're not even seeing right now.
Ah, okay. So it's like, figure out what you want to achieve before you just jump in and start automating everything.
Exactly. Don't just automate for the sake of automating. Have a clear goal in mind.
Gotcha. So once you have those goals, how do you choose the right tools?
Well, both the Stanford report and Martin Ebonge's course highlight some fantastic options. And the good news is there are tools out there for every budget, and every technical skill level.
Okay, that's good to hear because I'm not exactly a tech wizard.
Neither am I. That's why I love these user-friendly tools.
So can you give us some examples of these tools and maybe what they're best suited for?
Absolutely. So let's say you're struggling to connect data from different sources, right? Like you've got customer data in your CRM, sales data in your accounting software, and marketing data is all over the place. Tools like Zapier or UiPath are amazing for this. They're like a universal translator for your data, connecting all those different systems.
So they're kind of like a central nervous system for all your data, right?
Yeah, exactly. It brings everything together in one place so you can see the big picture.
Okay, I like that. And then what if you're drowning in those tedious tasks like generating reports or, sending out emails?
I feel your pain.
Ugh.
That's where tools like Assembly come in.
Okay.
Or even simpler automation rules within your existing software can handle that stuff automatically.
Wow. So no more spending hours copying and pasting between spreadsheets.
Exactly. You got it. And if you want to take your visualizations and collaboration to the next level, Creately is really cool. It lets you build those interactive dashboards that update in real time.
Ooh. It sounds fancy.
It is. So your team can see the data story unfold.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense. But what about those of us who aren't tech savvy? Can we actually use these tools without a team of programmers?
Absolutely. That's where Martin Ebonge's course, Automations Made Easy, comes in. It's specifically designed for folks with little to no coding experience.
Perfect.
Step-by-step guidance, templates, the whole 9 yards. You'd be surprised how much you can achieve with just a little know-how and the right tools.
You know, this whole automation thing, maybe it's not as intimidating as I
I
thought.
told you. And remember, the Stanford report emphasizes you don't have to do everything at once. Just start by picking one area where automation can really make a difference.
Okay, so start small and then kind of build from there.
Exactly. As you gain experience and confidence, you can gradually expand your automation efforts.
Okay, I'm feeling much more optimistic now. But before we move on, I do have one more question about the implementation process. The Stanford report mentions continuous monitoring. What does that actually mean?
Great question. Think of it like taking care of your car. You don't just fill up the gas tank and forget about it, right? You got to check the oil, make sure the tires are inflated, regular tune-ups to keep everything running smoothly.
Ah, so you're saying automation isn't just a set it and forget it thing. It actually requires ongoing attention.
You got it. You need to keep an eye on things, make adjustments as needed. Your business is constantly changing. Your data is changing. Technology is always evolving.
So it's about being proactive and making sure those automations are still aligned with your business goals.
You got it. Constantly evolving.
Okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's talk about some real-world examples. That's where it gets really exciting, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We've got some incredible case studies lined up that'll show you just how much business analytics automation can change the game.
Awesome.
And these aren't just big tech companies. These are businesses of all shapes and sizes across all industries.
Okay, well, let's hear it. I'm really excited to hear how these companies are using data to, achieve real results and hopefully inspire our listeners to maybe start their own automation journey.
I think they will be inspired. Get ready for some serious inspiration.
Welcome back to our deep dive into business analytics automation. Last time we were talking about choosing the right tools and, keeping an eye on things, that continuous monitoring. But now let's get to those real-world success stories.
Yes, I am ready to be inspired.
Okay, so first up, we have a global insurance company, and they were facing a pretty common challenge. Tons of customer data, mountains of it.
I can imagine.
But they were really struggling to, use it effectively, to personalize their services. So they actually partnered with Deloitte to implement an AI-powered risk assessment system
Oh, wow.
that could analyze customer data in real time. And you know what? It led to a 15% increase in the accuracy of their risk profiles.
So they're not just automating tasks, they're actually making better decisions. Exactly. And get this, because they could assess risk more accurately, they were able to offer more competitive premiums.
Oh, so rewarding their lower risk customers.
Exactly. And that led to a 5% boost in new customer acquisition.
Okay, so happier customers and a healthier bottom line. Win-win.
Win-win. So what other industries are seeing these kinds of results?
Yeah, I'm curious. What else?
Well, how about the world of online gaming?
Okay.
So we've got this major interactive gaming publisher, and, they were struggling to keep players engaged, reduce that churn rate.
That's a tough one.
It is. So they teamed up with Deloitte, overhauled their whole data model, implemented all these analytics tools to track player behavior in real time.
Oh, wow. So they can see what players are doing, as it's happening.
Yes. Identify patterns, predict which players were most likely to, lose interest and leave.
So they can anticipate churn before it even happens.
Exactly. And they use that data to trigger personalized in-game offers.
Oh, that's smart.
Challenges, rewards, all designed to re-engage those players who are about to say, see ya?
So they're not just reacting to churn, they're preventing it. That's impressive.
They're getting ahead of it. And the results were pretty impressive, too. 10% decrease in player churn, 5% increase in average revenue per user.
Wow. Data-driven decisions in action.
In action. And it's not just about big companies with massive data sets either. Even smaller businesses are seeing amazing results. Take this beverage producer, for example.
Okay.
So they wanted to optimize their product placement and, marketing strategies.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
So they used a pretty simple exploratory analytics tool, nothing fancy really, to analyze sales data, demographics, even weather patterns, to figure out the best placement for their products.
Okay, so they're using data to understand not just what people are buying, but where and when they're buying it.
You got it. And just by tweaking their product placement based on these insights, they saw an 8% increase in market share in just 1 year.
That's a huge gain.
It is. It really shows you that automation It's not just for the big guys, it's for everyone.
It's accessible.
Exactly. And we have even more case studies that show just how powerful this stuff can be across different industries. A manufacturing company, they used predictive analytics to optimize their supply chain, resulting in a 15% reduction in lead times.
So they're getting products to customers faster.
Much faster. And they were able to reduce their inventory costs by 5%.
So they're saving money and making customers happier.
Exactly. Now, what about a retail organization? They use customer behavior analytics to personalize their marketing campaigns.
Ah, that's smart.
And that led to a 12% increase in sales conversions and a 7% boost in customer lifetime value.
Okay, so they're not just making a sale, they're building long-term relationships.
Long-term relationships, exactly. And in the tech world, we had a company that used market analysis to figure out, what was missing from their product offering.
Ah, so they're using data to identify opportunities for innovation.
Exactly. And they ended up developing all these new features that address their customer needs directly, leading to a 10% increase in customer satisfaction.
Wow.
And you know what? 7% bump in annual recurring revenue.
Okay, so they're making their customers happier and their business is growing.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing. And of course, there's the classic example of Spotify.
Oh yeah, I love Spotify.
They use AI-driven personalized recommendations. You know how they keep recommending new artists you might like?
Yeah, it's scary how well they know my taste in music.
Right. So they analyze listening habits and preferences, and then boom, they suggest new playlists, keep you hooked on the platform.
It definitely works on me.
It's like having a personal DJ in your pocket.
Yeah.
So all these case studies, they really paint a clear picture.
Yeah.
Business analytics, automation, it's not some futuristic concept. It's happening right now, and it's driving real results for companies of all shapes and sizes.
Okay, I'm totally convinced. But I do have one question. With all these companies, diving headfirst into automation, what happens to the human element? Are we all going to be replaced by robots?
I get that. It's a common concern. But you know what? While automation is definitely changing the way we work, it's not about replacing humans. It's more about, augmenting our abilities, taking those tedious tasks off our plates and letting us focus on what we're really good at.
So it's not humans versus machines, it's humans with machines.
Exactly. It's a partnership. Think about it. Even the smartest AI, it can't replicate things like intuition, empathy, the things that make us human.
That's reassuring. So how can businesses make sure they're striking the right balance then?
Well, it's all about viewing automation as a tool to empower your team. Invest in training, develop those skills that your employees are going to need, encourage collaboration between your data scientists and your business professionals.
So everyone's working together, using their strengths.
You got it. People and technology working together seamlessly. It's the future of work,
I love it. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From choosing the right tools to looking at real-world success stories to kind of debunking that myth that robots are taking over the world. But before we wrap up completely, I do want to hear more about those future trends.
Okay, let's talk about the future.
What's coming next?
Well, we're on the verge of some seriously mind-blowing advancements that could totally revolutionize the way we do business. And a lot of it has to do with this convergence of AI, machine learning, and the Internet of Things. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
But honestly, the Internet of Things still feels kind of like a buzzword to me.
Yeah.
Can you break it down, in plain English?
Yeah.
What does it actually mean for businesses?
Sure. Imagine this. Every single device that can connect to the Internet, from your smartphone to your smart refrigerator, even to sensors on a factory floor, all of that is generating a constant stream of data. That's the Internet of Things in action, a huge network of connected devices, all collecting information and sharing it.
So we're talking about way more than just computers and smartphones. We're talking about, everyday objects becoming data sources.
Exactly. And that creates, a massive wave of data.
Big data on steroids.
That's a good way to put it. But the real magic happens when you combine all this IoT data with, AI and machine learning.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection. So can you give me an example of how businesses are actually using these technologies to their advantage?
Sure. Imagine a retail store. They're using sensors, right, to track how customers move and behave.
Okay, so they can see where people are going in the store and what they're looking at.
Exactly. And they use AI algorithms to analyze all that data so they can figure out patterns, predict what customers need.
So they could send personalized offers to people's phones while they're shopping.
Yeah. Or they could, tell their employees to offer help if someone looks confused.
Ooh, that's clever.
It is. Or think about a manufacturing plant. Sensors on all the machines, constantly collecting data on, performance, temperature, all that stuff.
Okay.
AI can then analyze that data and actually predict equipment failures
Before they even happen.
before they happen. It's like magic, right?
So they can do preventative maintenance and avoid those, like, really expensive shutdowns.
Exactly. Saving time and money. But it's not just about making things better.
Wow.
This technology can help create totally new ways of doing business.
Okay, like what?
Well, imagine a car insurance company. They're using these devices to track how people drive.
Okay.
AI analyzes the data.
And they can adjust your insurance rate based on your actual driving habits.
Exactly. Safe drivers get lower rates. It's all about personalization.
That's amazing. It changes everything for the insurance industry.
It does. It's just one example of how all this stuff is changing the world. It's exciting, right?
It is exciting, but honestly, it's a little overwhelming too. It feels like technology is changing so fast these days. How can businesses keep up?
I hear you. It's a lot to take in, but you don't need to be a tech giant to use this stuff to your advantage.
Okay, that's good to know.
Start by thinking about your goals. What are you trying to achieve? What problems are you trying to solve?
So focus on the big picture, and then figure out how technology can help you get there.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Start small. Try things out. Learn as you go.
So take baby steps, and don't be afraid to experiment a little.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask for help either. There are so many experts out there who can guide you, consultants, tech companies, research institutions.
Okay, so leverage your resources.
Exactly. The future of business analytics is all about collaboration.
It's a team effort.
It is. And it's full of possibilities. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Me too. Well, this deep dive has been incredible. I feel like I've learned so much. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. Any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap up?
Data isn't just some boring side effect of running a business. It's like the fuel that powers innovation and growth.
I like that analogy.
So embrace the power of data. Use the right tools. Keep learning and experimenting. The future belongs to those who use data to make better decisions, create amazing experiences, and build a better world.
What a great message to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into business analytics automation. Hopefully you found it as fascinating and inspiring as we did. And remember, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep innovating. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Small Business Accelerator podcast.
We really hope today's strategies help you grow your business without breaking the bank.
Don't forget to check the show notes for links to resources we've handpicked for small business success.
If you found value in today's episode, it would make our day if you subscribed to the podcast and left us a review.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And stay tuned for our next episode. Next time, we'll reveal yet another game-changing strategy that's revolutionizing how small businesses on a shoestring budget take on giant corporations and accelerate their success.
Until then, keep accelerating your success.
This is Sarah Wilson.
And Roger Bryant, signing off.